Hey, I'm not on a walk today because it's raining and chilly. Kind of chilly. But I do have something to say. So, I feel silly like looking right at the camera. So I'm gonna look like just past the camera. Just beyond it. Okay, so in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. All right, I'll look at the camera. I'll look and I'll not look whenever I feel like it. All right? Okay. In the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they, more so in the past, not a whole lot recently, but still though, they encourage self-reliance, self-sustainability, personal revelation, like things like you take care of yourself, you watch out for yourself, you receive your own personal revelation. The personal revelation thing has really been pushed more recently, but the like the self-reliance, like food storage and planting a garden, things like that, it's still talked about, like it's still a thing. It's just not talked about as much as it used to be. So, why? Why? Like, what does that have to do with the gospel of Jesus Christ? I think it has everything to do with we are sovereign beings. We have unalienable rights endowed by our Creator. We are, and I mentioned this in previous video, we will be judged for our own sins. I think that no matter, and this is the gospel according to myself, I think that each one of us will get to the end of our life or whatever, and we'll meet our Maker. Well, we won't meet him, but not yet, but we'll get to the end, okay? And basically meet our Maker. I'm not going to go into like the deep gospel doctrine here. And he will say, "This is what I gave you. What did you do with it?" No matter if we were born in Ghana or Venezuela or deep in the mountains of China in the 1300s, or, I mean, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This is what I gave you. What did you do with it? And I don't mean that all in like material things. I mean that in like spiritual stuff. All manner of things. I gave you this knowledge. I gave you this talent. I gave you this money. I gave you this, kind heart or sensitive spirit or the ability to like see another person see another person's sadness or any all and beyond. I gave you these things. What did you do with it? Personally, I think that basically that is what it's going to come down to. Okay, so what does this have to do with self-reliance? As sovereign beings, as individual children of our Father in heaven, we are supposed to take care of ourselves. Act and God will act. I've mentioned that quote before. Joan of Arc said that. Act and God will act. We're not just supposed to sit on our butts and expect blessings of heaven. And that is the gospel of Jesus Christ. He gave people talents. Some buried them. Some didn't. What happened? The 10 virgins, some were prepared with oil in their lamps. Some weren't. What happened? Some, like the Good Samaritan, okay? Some were asked to bathe in the Jordan River 7 times. Why? That makes no sense medically. Well, it worked for him. So we're asked to do things. We're asked to take care of ourselves and to grow and become better people. Like, that's kind of the whole point of life on earth, is to be tried and tested, to do good and then do better. You can't do that if you're reliant upon everyone else, i.e., the government. All right, imagine the person who has food storage, water storage, things are good. They've taken care of themselves, and an earthquake happens. All right, their home gets a little rattled, but is okay. But roads are ruined. They can't get gas. They can't get food for a little while, right? These things have happened. Okay, so that person who's able to just kind of hunker down and live on food for a little bit, contrast that with their neighbor who's like, crap. SOL, FEMA camp. These things have happened. They've happened before. They will happen again. Those who have and are able to take care of themselves, and those who have not, have to rely on someone else. Okay? As a sentinel woman, to watch over, guard, and protect, it is our responsibility to take care of our children. All right? I don't ever want to be in the situation where I could have done something differently, but instead I was lazy and blew my money on, I don't know, more shoes. I like shoes, but rather than, I should have bought that extra month food storage or something because my kids are hungry. And I'm not saying that I have it all together. There's tons of things. My husband and I were even making a list recently. We're like, oh, we could use this, we could use that, and then there's the really getting into it, like gas masks and things like that. We may or may not have those. I'm not gonna say either way. So if self-reliance is important, if it's important for our temporal physical being to be able to take care of ourselves in times of crisis, so that we're not having to go to a FEMA camp or whatever. And there's times like financial slumps and things where food stamps may be the best option or something like that, okay? I'm not talking about that though, all right? And those programs are there temporarily, hopefully. I think the whole idea is, in a temporary bad situation, we are here to help you, but you'll end up paying back way more into the system by the time you get out of your slump. All right? Anyway, so I'm not necessarily talking about food stamps, okay? I'm talking about crisis stuff, all right? Now, don't you think this last year, it's been kind of a crisis? It's been kind of a crisis. And a lot of people have lost their jobs. My husband was without work for 6 weeks last year. He didn't work. Thankfully, we were okay. Oh, imagine that. We were okay. And have even been able to make up for it and then some, which is fantastic. Many people didn't have that, okay? Many people are getting those checks from the government. Many people are homeless now who weren't. I want to sidestep, though, away from these temporal needs, food, shelter, things like that, and step over to another area that I don't know if too many parallels have been made. All right, so members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we have been asked to be self-reliant, relying upon ourselves if a crisis should ever happen. Why then are so many members of the church relying upon this jab, this thing that starts with a V, instead of being self-reliant, improving their own health, eating vegetables and fruit, drinking water, sleeping better? Ooh, you know what? There's a crisis. Maybe over the course of these 2 weeks, to flatten the curve, or 14, 15-ish months now, there's been plenty of time. You can't get healthy in a day. We're going on a year and a half, right? But no. You are waiting for the government handout. You're waiting on the government handout. You're excited for it. You're giving it to your children. This thing, we don't know what's in it. It has not been approved by the FDA, which the FDA, they've approved aspartame. That says a lot right there. They approve food coloring. They approve a lot of petroleum-based things. They have approved so many medications that end up doing so much harm, that have caused birth defects. Okay? Take this pregnant woman. This was in the 70s. I can't remember what it was. You can go look it up. Oh, your kid was born with one arm. Whoops. Okay? Think of all the kids. I held a baby. I was telling my mom about this the other day. In nursing school, during my clinical rotation on the OB floor, I held a baby that had tremors. Tiny newborn baby had tremors. I asked the pediatrician, what's wrong with this baby? I wasn't a mom yet, but I knew that a newborn didn't have tremors. The poor baby was detoxing from its mother's antidepressants. And I'm not blaming mom here. No, it's not mom's fault. Mom was just trying to do the best she could with what she knew. Okay, so I don't give much credence to the FDA's stamp of approval. I don't. I think some things they've gotten right, some things they've gotten horribly wrong. But this thing doesn't even have that yet. It'll come, though. It'll come. Just like we're supposed to be self-reliant for our temporal means, why doesn't that mean also self-reliant in our own health? How many people are so fat and so sick that when a flood comes or an earthquake or something like that, they're stuck and they can't move to get out. So then someone else has to go risk their life to save them. This is not taking care of your temporal needs. When this pandemic happens and, the jab will save everyone, this unproven, untested, they couldn't even isolate the virus. They couldn't even isolate it. But this this mRNA therapy, gene modification therapy, it'll do it. It'll fix it. It'll turn your symptoms, whatever symptoms you have, to only mild symptoms. Guess what? I had the thing back in December. I would consider my symptoms pretty mild. I had low energy. That's how bad it got for me. I had low energy. I kind of felt like a bump on a log for 2 to 3 days. It's pretty mild symptoms. Whew! Good thing. You've been asked to be self-reliant so that you are not dependent upon the government. Yet here, people are lining up in droves, which I don't think it's happening as much as they say it's happening. I think a lot of people are refusing this. Not refusing, that's a stupid word. It's like, am I refusing an Advil? No, I don't need Advil. I'm not refusing it. I just don't need it. All right? Same thing with this thing. Okay? This thing. You wouldn't have to incentivize something, you know, like Krispy Kreme. What? I saw a strip club that was like, you get VIP access if you show proof. Like Ohio, I think another state too, is it California now, that is giving away like $1 million prizes to people who get it. You don't have to incentivize something that actually works, by the way. It's like, all right, kid, eat your vegetables so you can have a cookie, you know? A, you're being treated like a child. Grow up. B, if it really cured this deadly thing, I don't want to say the word, that you need to be tested for to see if you even have it, by the way. If it really was the bee's knees, wouldn't need all the celebrity endorsements, all the incentives, all the propaganda, honestly. All right, so shame on them, but shame on you if you are a member of the church and you've allowed yourself to rely upon the government because you've been taught better. You've been told to do better. You've been told to be self-reliant and self-sufficient. You've been told to look after and protect your children, and to treat this jab like it's the golden calf, like it's your savior, like, oh, I'll finally hug grandma. Really? This thing doesn't save. Jesus saves. That immune system your creator gave you, it saves. Whose fault is it that you haven't been taking care of yourself? It's your fault. In the age of information, naiveness isn't an excuse. No. You follow the success stories. Oh, geez, so-and-so lost weight and is looking good. And, geez, she's in the pool playing with her kids and blah, 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 blah. Go ask her what she's doing. Look on the internet and follow the path of the other success stories so that you can have your own. But when you have been told by modern day prophets your whole life to be self-reliant, to have your food storage, to have savings, to avoid debt, all these things, what's the difference? Yeah, I'll do all these things. Oh, but I'm going to be first in line for that government jab to protect my health. No. It's stupid. It goes against everything. It goes against It goes against science. I trust the science. Really show it to me. I'd love to see it, because the science I have seen, all the ferrets died. All the ferrets. Why ferrets? Why? Because a ferret's immune system most closely resembles ours. Okay? Our anatomy most closely resembles a pig. Okay? Strange fact. But our immune system most closely parallels, that's a better word, a ferret. All the ferrets died. But they've been trying this out for 9 years. Yeah, it never worked. And it hasn't worked. All the ferrets died. Oh, but you'll line up and you'll take your 12-year-old. And the age is only getting younger. And it's freaking scary. It's so scary. It's scary that you are ignoring modern prophets when they have told you to be self-reliant, and now you're relying on the government for your health. I call bull on that. It's scary that you are just so willing to put whatever is in this into your body and into that of your child's body. It's freaking scary. I fear for you. I do. And at the same time, I don't want to be anywhere now around you for at least 4 weeks, because you shed. You shed. You're shedding, and I don't want that. I don't want it on me. I've done a good job at keeping myself healthy. I don't want your shedding on me. But I am healthy, so it shouldn't affect me too much. But I don't know, I've been hearing stories of women's menstrual cycles being all messed up when they haven't got it. It's just all these other women who have got it are shedding on them. Anyway, so yeah, shame on you for not being self-reliant, for relying upon the government to tell you what you should do, and to be so quick to get in line. They really, whatever's in this thing, they really, like, isn't it? It's so obvious, huh? They want us to have it so badly. Why? Because 2.2 million people, a bird just fluttered away. 2.2 million people didn't die, by the way. I don't know if you noticed. 2.2 million people didn't die. They've been lying about the numbers all along. They've been lying about the numbers. Every number that's come around in the last going on a year and a half has been a lie. And because of that, I think that they're lying about the numbers of how many people have been jabbed too. Because all the celebrity endorsements, all the things that I've already mentioned, they wouldn't do that if they've been hitting the numbers they've wanted to hit. So that gives me hope. That gives me hope. All right, that's my rant for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me show you just how green and beautiful it is. Oh, isn't that nice? Okay. Leave your comments. I'd love to see them. Share, subscribe, all the things. You know, if you have that one friend who won't listen to you, but maybe they'll listen to someone else. I mean, even Jesus was, his own people didn't even accept him. So I get it. I totally get that those closest to you are like, no. It's like if they knew you, before, I don't know, like your 4th grade year or something, they just